Imagine walking into a warm, crowded restaurant on a rainy night. Everyone is laughing, eating, living their ordinary lives. Until a barefoot girl with tangled hair and hungry eyes steps inside. She carries no money, only a cardboard sign with 5 chilling words. "Can I play for food?" The crowd bursts into laughter, mocking her. But the moment her fingers touch the piano keys, everything changes. The air grows colder, the lights flicker, and the restaurant falls silent, trapped by a music that should not be possible. Because what she plays is not just music, it is memory, it is punishment, it is something far darker than anyone could imagine. Stay with me, because by the time you hear the last note, you will never look at a piano the same way again. The night was cold. The neon lights of the restaurant flickered against the rain-soaked pavement. People walked by in a hurry, their footsteps splashing in shallow puddles. On the corner, a young girl sat with her hands wrapped around a small cardboard sign. It read in shaky letters, "Can I play for food?" Her hair clung to her face, damp from the drizzle. Her stomach growled, but no one noticed. A group of teenagers stopped and stared. They laughed. One of them pointed at her. "A piano? You? Do you even know how to play?" The girl lowered her eyes. Her voice trembled. "Please, just a few minutes. Inside the restaurant, a glossy black grand piano stood near the window. Its surface shimmered beneath the golden light of the chandeliers. The manager frowned when she walked in. Her bare feet squeaked against the polished floor. The room grew. "Quiet!" customers whispered. The teenagers followed, snickering. The girl approached the piano. Her hands hovered over the keys. Her fingers shook. Not from fear, but from hunger. The air felt heavy. Even the sound of forks and glasses stopped. She pressed the first key. It rang out, sharp and pure. Then another. Then a cascade of notes poured into the silence. Her fingers moved. Faster. Her back straightened. Her eyes closed. The music roared through the room like a storm. Every chord shook the air, rising higher, darker, more furious. The teenagers stopped laughing. Their faces paled. The customers leaned forward, transfixed. The manager's jaw dropped. The chandeliers above seemed to tremble with the intensity of her playing. The girl's fingers blurred across the keys. The piano cried, sang and thundered all at once, and then she hit a final, earth-shattering note. The sound rang through the restaurant like a warning. The silence that followed was unbearable. Everyone stared. Her chest heaved. Her eyes opened. They were not the eyes of a starving child. They were the eyes of someone who carried a secret, something no one in that room was ready to hear. The silence stretched on. The shadow writhed against the ceiling. It split into many figures, half-formed, moving like smoke yet heavy as stone. The whispers grew clearer. Names, dates, cries of regret. One man dropped to his knees, clutching his head. He shouted a name that no one else recognized. His body shook violently as if dragged by invisible chains. The girl did not move to help him. Her face was calm, almost detached. The music swelled again, filling every corner of the restaurant with suffocating weight. The chandeliers rattled so hard their crystals snapped free. Crashing down onto the tables, screams erupted once more, but the girl simply whispered, almost to herself, "They want to be heard." The shadows pressed closer. Stretching down toward the tables, a woman at the back shrieked, swatting at the air, her wineglass tipped, red liquid spilling like blood across the floor. The sound of the piano shifted again, this time softer, eerily delicate, like a lullaby. But that softness only made it worse. Every note seemed to drag memories out of the people's minds. Private memories, shame, guilt, loss. A customer shouted, "Stop her! Stop the girl!" The manager forced himself forward step by step, fighting the weight of the sound. He reached out, but the piano keys slammed shut on their own, trapping his hand. His scream cut through the room. The girl turned, toward him slowly, her voice carried above the chaos. You asked what it remembers. Her eyes gleamed in the dim red glow of the exit sign. It remembers. Everything you tried to forget. The shadows behind her surged, their mouths opening in silent cries, and the music rose again, sharper, louder, unstoppable. The manager's scream echoed as the piano held his hand in its crushing grip. Veins stood out on his neck as he pulled, but the lid pressed harder, refusing to release him. The girl tilted her head slightly, as if listening to something only she could hear. Then her lips curved into a faint smile. "It knows you," she whispered. The shadows shifted. They seemed to lean toward the manager, stretching across the walls like black claws. The air grew colder. Frost crept across the glossy surface of the piano. The manager shook his head violently.